Welcome everybody, having a brew with the Ocean Crew. I've got my co-host here, Mr. Ocean Addicts, and we're going to meet up with Mr. Dorries. We're going to talk about the Falcon and the Strike. Let's do it. Yeah. Welcome Dorries, welcome back. Hey, we're going to talk about the new 217 Strike. So I've been on this now probably for a couple of months, and it's good. No, it's really good. There's a few negatives, but I think every board probably has some negatives. The only thing that I've been finding is probably doesn't sprint as well as some of the other boards that I've ridden. But its long distance glide is bar none, probably up there with the best boards in the world, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, who sprint? I mean, we probably sprint what for 50, 100 metres maximum anyway. So in a race or any sort of paddle, you know, you're not going to be sprinting anyway. So
No, look, there's hardly any sprint events going on. They're on, but they're on there for the elite.
do you find that it doesn't sprint? Is this more of a long distance gliding board? Is that or am I just a kook?
Yeah, I think it could be me too, because I'm not a sprinter. We're getting older now. We don't work on our sprinting as much.
Oh, okay.
We don't have that natural sprint ability. Maybe some young, fantastic paddler can get it going with their whipping back action.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you said though. We're there to do races, 5Ks upwards. We want to feel comfortable.
And the glide is the glide's pretty exceptional, isn't it?
And the glide's good on it. Whether you're going, and the good thing I like about this, 24 inches wide, the 26 inch wide board feels just the same. Doesn't feel any slower.
Yeah.
They've really done a good job here. So you've got the added stability on the 26, but of course, if you can handle the pressure of being on the 24, I don't think there's a lot of difference in the two. You're not going to have any worries with it.
So they really, from last year's model, they've actually wound it back a little bit. The last year's Strike was pretty aggressive, wasn't it?
It was a very aggressive model.
Had a really aggressive nose on it, had a really rounded tail, and it was, I mean, even for me, it was a pretty wild board. To me, what they've done is they've kind of used all the really good features and they've toned it back to make it a bit more user-friendly.
Yeah.
Don't you reckon?
Yeah, I like the way they've just kept a little bit of roundness here. A lot of our boards are normally flat, but we're in flat water, a little bit around, just a tiny bit, and then we go back to the flat, which gives us that stability. So there's our long-term glide up the front here.
Yeah, that's what
we don't need a planing surface. Yeah. Because we're working off our own speed of the paddle, so we're not catching runners, etc.
And then it just comes in a really little baby V down the back there.
The big difference between this and the Falcon is it is only 24, but you've got the wider tails.
Yeah.
So that increases that. And you can probably go a little bit skinnier, but that would make the board a lot tippier.
So they've actually put, from last year's Model 2, they've actually put a little bit more volume through the nose.
Yeah, a little bit more volume through the nose, a little bit more parallel coming up here before we cut in to the skinny nose. So they've kept the parallel going through to the front more. And that's giving you that little bit more volume. So you can stand a little bit further up.
Yeah. And which I personally think that any board worth its salt is you've got to be above centre.
Yeah.
If you can get up above centre and the board still works, get that tail release, it's just going to go.
You know the board's working when you're just in front of centre.
Yeah.
If you've got to stand back from centre.
So it's got that nice wide tail, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, guys are getting out on these in ocean conditions and still having a few little downwinds. Very flat, windy ocean conditions.
It's kind of got this really nice, unusual reverse bulbous nose thing going on, which is in the water. It looks amazing. So
well, for a big guy like me, that gives you that extra volume you need too. Yeah. As we said, that's why we're standing up the front a little bit more and makes the board enjoyable.
Yeah, no worries. All right, that's the 2017 Strike.
Yeah, go and have a go on one.
See ya.
Exterminate, eat all steamboat paddlers. Eat all steamboat